Good morning, everybody. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to just do a general reading and just kind of see where it goes. I did just cut the deck to the Emperor and the Lovers, so could be either a big decision that's coming that you're going to have to um, make some type of big decision, or it could actually be a love connection. I typically do love connections, I'm not going to lie though. So let's keep on going. We have the Lovers again and the Eight of Wands. Something coming towards you. Let's see what comes out. Okay, let's go ahead and start looking at it. We got the High Priestess. All right, we got the Four of Swords. So there's something here about, really reflecting in your intuition, kind of maybe pulling back, doing some healing, some shadow work. I didn't even see that card fall out. We got the Six of Pentacles, really balancing equal give and take. The Nine of Wands. Okay. Really kind of focused in on, again, the self-reflections, trying to figure out, like finally trying to let go of some burdens. What's that going to be? It's going to be the Nine of Swords in reverse, letting go of some self-limiting beliefs. It's all very good things to do during reflections. Spirit, can you give us more information around what this reflection is on? What is this reflection on? Again, letting go. There's something that you're letting go, and it's coming through very strong. Strength in reverse. Interesting. Why is strength in reverse, Spirit? The Magician and the Ace of Cups. Let's get one more. Here, can we get one more? That one like flipped out and then flipped back in, so I'm going to leave it in. And we got the Six of Swords in reverse. So there's definitely something here about letting go. There is something here about the feeling of not having the strength to complete your manifestations right now. I swear one day I'll learn how to say that word. But there's something here about not really feeling like you have the strength to move forward with that. And that strength is really around, your abundance. And, the cups really have to do with the heart space. And so I really do, I'm getting the feel that this is more of a love type of connection. So let's keep going. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we can get here. The Hierophant. So the Hierophant can mean a couple of different things. Let's get a couple more cards and see what comes out. Collaboration. You could be collaborating with a spiritual advisor, a psychiatrist, a therapist on this, and that's kind of where that reflection is coming from. And the Nine of Cups in reverse. I feel like I need to get one more card. Spirit, can you give me one more card here? Okay, I didn't say 100, but we're going to go ahead and take these ones back, and we're going to use this one. And the Queen of Swords, knowing your truth. Yeah, I mean, this could be pretty simple, and you working with like a therapist or some type of spiritual advisor, collaborating with them around maybe what you feel and perceive as a lack of abundance, and really understanding and knowing your truth in the situation. So I'm really not sure if this is career yet or if this is going to be a love connection, but there definitely feels like there's an intuitive knowing that's going on here, that there's healing that's happening, there's letting go of self-limiting beliefs, and possibly collaborating with some type of either therapist um, or spiritual advisor around what you perceive as being like your lack of abundance, and really starting to understand and know your truth. This is something that I recently went through not that long ago, going through a divorce. It was very difficult, very challenging, but I really needed to figure out what my truth was and understand that my lack of abundance really focused on my lack of emotional abundance. And I worked with therapists and psychiatrists to kind of help me through some of that, some of those turmoils. Spirit, can you give us more advice as to around what this is regarding? Something that you're passionate about in the universe. In this deck is a bonus card. And this deck that I'm using is called the Moonchild Tarot. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's one of my favorite decks. So it is the Crow Tarot, which we just used. Now, in this deck, the universe really talks about, um, it really talks about, focusing in on you and what it is that you want, and kind of being more of a star seed, really kind of focused in on everything around you. And again, that real deep intuitiveness with the Queen of Wands and the universe coming out together. I really kind of get this sense that you may either be a tarot reader, or you might be very spiritual, in a sense that it's something that interests you, something that you're really passionate about. And I did get the Four of Wands on the deck, bottom of the deck, and I got the Moon in reverse. Now, the Moon tried to come out in the other deck and didn't. It popped back in. And the Four of Wands really talks about that happy home, right? Coming together. And the Moon in reverse kind of talks about, you know, illusions, delusions in some cases. So maybe there's something there where some shadow work that you need to do, or you are doing. I'm getting a sense that you already are doing the shadow work. Why is the collective doing the shadow work? To find balance, the Empress, the Hangman. And I'm really called to put this card right here, and I'm not really sure why yet. We'll take a look at it in a second. Spirit, can I get 2 more cards, please? Five of Cups. Can I get 1 more, please? Interesting. Cards are not coming out in this deck right now. I'm going to go through one more time. Okay. This is the card. The Ace of Swords. Yeah, I mean, there's a deep sense here of, doing this internal work so you can find balance to get to um, that Empress, divine feminine aura, right? That deep knowing and acceptance of yourself. The Nine of Pentacles really talks about having that abundance in life and in your material world. The Hangman really talks about taking that leap of faith. So there might be something here where you're really working hard on yourself to balance your emotional stability as well as your physical stability. So this could be more career driven. And with that Five of Cups, it's like you're missing something. You're not seeing something that's like right in front of you, but that is potentially this clarity. And we had the Ace of Swords come out, and then the Queen of Swords as well, as something that you were working towards, something that you were trying to obtain, that clarity. So that could have something to do more with career than it does with a person. Keep going. The Page of Swords. Okay. I'm getting there's some type of communication that's coming through, some determination around what's coming through. Maybe you need to have a conversation with somebody, or maybe you're asking for a promotion. It's kind of what I was seeing based on. I didn't see the Queen of Cups fall out, but it did, and it fell out in reverse. There's something here about maybe being needy in a sense. Maybe that's one of the things that you're working on. And then the Lovers did come out in this deck. You know, this could be a major life decision. However, this could also be a love connection. I mean, we've seen the Lovers now twice, and that really does speak to those divine connections, but it also speaks of really big choices. So having this conversation about this clarity, but trying not to be, or maybe you have felt that you've been over needy in the past when you've communicated, but that coming down to the Lovers, it could be a major life decision, but it could also be a love connection. This whole reading, though, I've been really seeing a lot more to do with your financial stability and stability in general, and letting go of those self-limiting beliefs. So I do feel like this has more to do with your career and having a conversation maybe with a boss about some new clarity that you're receiving, but it's such a huge decision. Spirit, can you show us why this is such a big decision, or if this is indeed a love connection? The Two of Pentacles, again, that balancing, the juggling of finances and life, and there's just a lot going on. It rained in Arizona the other day, so my cards are a little bit like sticking. This is the card. Five of Swords. Yeah, like there's an internal fight going on around, this juggling act that you're doing. You possibly might be juggling multiple areas, right? You might be juggling both, like maybe a new type of love connection, since it's not coming through like super strong, and your financial stability. I'm gonna get another deck to see if we can get some more clarifying cards. This next deck is going to be the Light Seers Tarot. I absolutely love the Light Seers Tarot. Okay, I wanted to jump right out. Strength in reverse again. That is a really strong message because it's come out twice now. The Star, all about healing and letting go, and really focused in on that healing. Maybe this like lack of strength and is something that you're really working on healing. The Wheel. This being in reverse kind of gives me this feeling of maybe there are cycles that you are perpetuating over and over again. And maybe that's part of this healing journey that you're going through. Maybe that's what that needy feeling was, because you had done it before. Spirit, can you please clarify for us if what this is about? Is this more about love, or is it more about career? We got 3 cards here. Judgment. We got the Queen of Swords again and the Knight of Wands in reverse. I'm getting the sense that you were wronged, and you kind of know it. And you had the Queen of Wands come out earlier, and now the King of Wands, and in the reverse. And I almost feel like there's a truth that you're starting to understand through your healing, that maybe those continuous cycles weren't all you. Um, and you're starting to understand your truth, and you're starting to see this judgment occur, and possibly either, again, with a boss or a company or a person. Here, can you please clarify if this is a person? Yeah, I mean, like, you've recently got some new knowledge around this, which makes sense compared to what we're seeing. I'm not going to take those. I'm going to take this one. And we got the Ace of Cups in reverse this time. Yes. So you have gotten this knowledge around this lack of abundance. And it's like somebody has wronged you in a way. And you've recently got this knowledge. Spirit, can you please give us more information around what this is? I don't know why Spirit is being so secretive if this is a love connection or if it is a career. And it might be both. I mean, with that Two of Pentacles that came out earlier, that juggling act, it really might be both, like a new love connection, because it's not coming through super strong. So I would say it's probably something fairly new. But your financial stability is something that you're really focused on and needing to work on, and almost like you're going through this healing process. I mean, you could be going through a divorce and or some type of a breakup where there was a lack of abundance. I mean, this Knight of Swords in reverse, really kind of talks about like somebody kind of, potentially running away. And then Eight of Cups is somebody walking away. In reverse kind of tells me that you haven't quite walked away yet. Maybe you're thinking about getting a divorce. Maybe you're thinking about leaving a career, a job. Sir, can you give us more information, please? 4 cards, please, to give us clarify this. I just got this sense that this is both. The Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, it's like that slow moving energy where like an offer is coming through. Maybe again, I think that's going to have to do more with that career. And then we got the King of Cups in reverse. We got the High Priestess again. I really do think this is both scenarios. Like, I think you have a opportunity from a career perspective, but you have this new love connection or a love connection that is lacking some type of abundance, and you have this inner knowing about this, and it's something that you're working on. I'm getting a sense that you might be trying to get a divorce or thinking about getting a divorce or thinking about ending a relationship with somebody, and you have this inner knowing, which really tells me that you know what you're supposed to do. I think you're just scared with that strength card in reverse twice, and the Four of Swords again. Really focusing in on that self-reflection. That I think the High Priestess. Oh no, it was the Four of Swords and the Eight or the Queen of Wands that came out together earlier. But this really inner knowing that this is something that you're working on, and I 100% believe that now that this is both scenarios. I think you have a connection in love that you're potentially thinking about ending, and potentially that impacts your stability, right? And now you're trying to figure out how you're going to get a new type of stability. Maybe you're looking for a new job because of this potential divorce. Maybe you have to like split up finances. Spirit, is there anything more that you'd like us to know? And the Moon did come out, and it came out in reverse. And it wanted to come out in the first deck. It did come out in the second deck, and now it's come out again. So there's something here about illusions and, shadow work. And really what I'm seeing here is potentially you have been I don't want to say the wool has been pulled over your eyes, but potentially this is really what you're working on, right? You're working on seeing through somebody or seeing through something that's happened. Very interesting reading, and not one that I have seen in the past. So either a new collective, a new person needs to see this. My channel doesn't have very many subscribers and whatnot. I do this because I love to do this. It's one of my absolute favorite things. Yes, and the Nine of Cups in reverse, that lack of abundance, in the Two of Wands in reverse kind of tells me that you don't really have a plan on how to handle this quite yet. Maybe you're formulating one still and you're not there yet. You just don't have that plan. Spirit, can we get one more card here and then we'll move to a fourth deck? Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and take that one because we wanted one more. And it's that Four of Cups, right? So there is somebody who's just not paying attention, who's out of sync with what it is that they want, really kind of just letting things happen around them with really no direction as to where to go or what to do in this scenario. So I'm going to go ahead and get another deck. This is going to be the Lion's Gateway. This is more your traditional tarot deck. I actually bought this deck in Nevada City, California, and I love it. It was my very first tarot deck that I purchased, and so it's a little beat up, so bear with it. I'm sure this moisture in the air, and just, I always do my readings outside because I find that very grounding. Alrighty, let's see here. We got the Star in reverse this time. We got the Nine of Wands, we got the Lovers, and we got the Ten of Swords in reverse. And so again, that big decision, right? Letting go of those burdens and really focusing in on that healing. But maybe there's some delay there. Maybe it's possibly because you just haven't made those plans. And this betrayal is something that I feel like you're starting to let go of, and potentially you're betrayed. We talked a little bit about illusions earlier with that moon in reverse. And I also am seeing the Three of Swords on the bottom. So this does feel like there is some heartbreak around potentially. I think it's probably the heartbreak and the swords has more to do with a person, because everything I'm seeing from a career perspective looks really positive. And it looks like you are moving forward in that perspective, but potentially this love connection is what's bogging you down a bit and not really having a plan on how to deal with it. Spirit, is there any other information that you want us to know before we get advice? All right, we'll take these two. The King, or the Knight of Wands in reverse, the Empress, and Temperance. Now you had the Empress already come out and you had Temperance come out together in the original deck, and the Knight of Wands, it's like, stop running away from this decision that you have to make. You already know with the High Priestess coming out twice, this is a decision that is fated and it's already kind of in motion, and it's something that you really need to continue to move forward on. Now, I am going to get you advice. Now, this advice is going to come from the Seed Sickle Oracle deck. Now, I will tell you that I do not know this deck very well. I know it from my personal readings, but I do not know all of the flowers that are listed on here, and I will butcher all the names. My my autism kind of kicks in, and I have a difficult time pronunciating words. So if you ever hear me struggle with a word, it's simply like manifestation. That word, for whatever reason, has been one that I have struggled with my entire life. So I will probably continue to struggle with it. Spirit, can you please give us advice? Can you give my viewer advice here on how to handle the situation that they're going through? And this is a fairly new deck, and it has 2 books. So it has a book for the right side, and it has a book for reversals. And I love that. It's like a shadow and a non-shadow version. All right, we got 4 cards. That might be too many, so I'm only going to take 3. So I'm going to put this one back right here. We got the dandelion in reverse. We got the bramble in the right side, and we got that one. So let's go ahead and read the dandelion in reverse. Hopefully they're in alphabetical order. I do not believe that is accurate. Let's try here. Oh, these are not going to be in reverse, are they? Or they're not going to be in order. Okay, let's just see if maybe the cards align with the numbers. That would be superb, wouldn't it? It, in fact, does not. Let's see if it aligns in this book with the numbers. It also, in fact, does not. How terrible is that? So it might take a second for us to find this. Oh, these have to do with, they're in order by um, when they bloom. That's interesting. I never noticed that before. And this dandelion, whoa, I don't know if you guys heard that, but maybe like a train. It can't be a train. It's got to be like a really big truck or something, because I don't live next to train tracks. This is really interesting. I cannot find the dandelion at all in here. So let's go here and see if it's here. And it's dandelion. D-A-N-D. All right. I have found it. Decisions to be made and conflicts of interest. So, really, this is telling us that this is something that we need to work on. And the bramble is preparedness and forethought. And our last card is going to be I swear, my dyslexia is kicking in, and this is like impossible to find in this little book. But overall, the sense of that I'm getting is really needing to focus in on making that decision, right? And being prepared to make that decision. And the acronym is learning a new skill, expanding knowledge, and transformation. I mean, beautiful, exactly what we've been talking about this entire time. And again, I think this has to do with 2 situations. I think you're in a relationship potentially that finances are connected to, that you're concerned about your stability and whether or not you have the strength to move forward. but it does look like from a career perspective that there are good things coming. I think you need to know your truth and potentially ask for that promotion or potentially find a new position. But it looks like that is coming in for you. Also, with that knowledge that you've gained around potentially this heartbreak or this lack of abundance, like what you need to do, and that's really that empress, that balance. The stars come through almost out of every deck, so really kind of making sure that you are healing. Continue to work with that therapist or whomever you're working with in that healing that you are already embarking on, so you have that strength. We really want to see that strength card flip in the upright for you. That way that you're moving forward, and we saw that you hadn't made any plans quite yet. Like you're just not quite sure how to make those plans yet. But in reality, this. You already have the skills and knowledge to make this decision. So, your advice is to continue to move forward, continue to work on your financial stability, and also start making plans on how to handle this heartbreak. And whatever that means for you, if that means working it out, okay. If that means leaving, then it's something that you need to do. So just continue to work forward on that. Ultimately, everything looks like it's going to end in a really positive note, but you need to do these plans. You need to do this inner work so you can accomplish what it is that you're trying to manifest. All right. Have a good one. Bye.